You're listening to the Folk Rock Show on WRSU. It's now time to turn to our recorded interview with James Young. James J.Y. Young is a lead guitarist, vocalist, and songwriter for the band STYX. STYX is an American band from Chicago known for mixing pop rock with elements of hard rock and also for onstage musical theater. They are best known for the songs Lady, Come Sail Away, Babe, The Best of Times, and also for the unusual rock opera, Mr. Roboto. The name STYX, S-T-Y-X, is taken from the name of a river in Greek mythology. In the interview you are about to hear, another radio station is identified. That station is 99.7 BHX, a radio station I owned at the time of this interview. When artists were touring or promoting a new book or CD, we sometimes had an opportunity to speak with them. This interview was a promotion for a concert at Great Adventure and their new Millennium CD. STYX will be appearing in our area in mid-November. Now, the interview.
99.7 WBHX, the Shore's classic rock, Radio On in the morning, classic rock all day, and yet another VH1 interactive, and they just get better and better all the time. And this time up is James of STYX, James Young. Hi, James. How are you?
Radio Ron, I'm doing great.
Man, this is great, and it's a thrill for all our BHX listeners who are STYX fans to hear you.
Well, of course, currently in our new lineup in STYX, we've got the New Jersey native Glenn Burtnick in the band.
That's right.
And so we are excited about coming back to New Jersey to perform. I'm excited about our new sort of midline greatest hits package, the Millennium CD from Universal. That's in stores as of June 11th here.
And isn't Universal become a massive company?
Well, there's good and bad about the corporatization of America. The good part of it for me has been that A&M has been purchased by Universal, and now the Who put out a Millennium CD, and the Cream do, and ultimately STYX winds up on the same label as those two bands, and I know there's a Hendrix thing coming down the line, and those are maybe the three bands that influenced me the most in my formative years as a guitar player, so I'm excited to be, sort of their label mate at this point in time.
So I understand not only the Millennium package that's coming out, but you're also continuing to write songs.
Yeah, well, we are working on our 14th studio album, and tentatively scheduled to be released February-March of 2003.
Wow.
And we haven't had a studio record since 1999, but we've got some great material here, and we've had a number of lineup changes, and we have some fresh energized writing going on at this point as we're interacting with new people and Tommy and myself. So it's, I don't know, I think we're going to be making a great record here, and we can actually go into the studio this coming week to actually begin in earnest doing some of the basic tracks for some of the music that we're confident is going to be on there.
Okay, who makes up STYX now?
Well, myself, who's the only guy that's been on every album and at every show since the beginning.
Yeah.
Tommy Shaw, who came in after the fifth album, but is more well-known, really, I suppose, than I am, and has had success not only in the framework of STYX, but in the framework of Damn Yankees with Ted Nugent and Jack Blades as well.
Right.
So it's myself and Tommy. Our original bass player, Chuck, is had some serious health issues. He's has AIDS, so he's out from time to time and sits in on a few songs with us when he's feeling up to it. But his permanent replacement is Glenn Burtnick from North Brunswick, New Jersey.
Right, and Glenn appears a lot at the Stone Pony.
Oh yeah, Glenn. In fact, I think he's going to be at the Stone Pony maybe a day or two before we actually are at Six Flags.
Right, we promote all the Glenn's appearances there.
Yeah, Glenn's great, and I'm the guy that actually suggested that he come into STYX. So I don't know, he's a great guy, and we've had some great times together over the last 10 years. And our original drummer passed away in '96, John Panazzo, and his replacement is a brilliant young drummer from Chicago named Todd Zuckerman. And so that's a very cool thing. And on keyboards, we have now the Canadian superstar that for some reason never really broke through down here, a fellow named Lawrence Gowan. And he's been with us for the last 3 years and conservatory trained, suffers from chronic entertainer syndrome. And so I don't know, people that have seen the new lineup and seen this new show we're doing have said this is the best live show that STYX has ever done. So,
wow, what an exploding, just a night of good rock and good entertainment. Yeah, and REO Speedwagon, yeah. And you guys have been with them before.
Yeah, we both bands are from Illinois, and we were sort of rivals back in both bands' heyday, going back to the late 70s, early 80s, and ultimately wound up battling for the number one spot on the Billboard album chart in 1981, us with Paradise Theater, them with their High Infidelity. And both bands were headliners at that point, so we really never played together, except maybe a few odd shows here and there. But in 1999, we wound up with the same agent, and they said, hey, it's natural for you guys just to go out there, and we do a 90-minute show, they do a 90-minute show, and it's 3 hours of hit songs.
Yeah, it's great value, and it's a really comfortable place to be. You have Medusa behind you. This ride just twisting itself round and round, and sometimes it gets louder than the music. I remember seeing Peter Frampton there. When he was talking, he was really funny with it. He just stopped and let Medusa go around and then started talking again as if he was by the airport for a plane to go by.
Oh, goodness.
You know, so you'll see what I'm talking about when Medusa, you get into Six Flags. But once again, we're speaking with James Young of STYX. And you have that brand new box set out on Universal. What's the exact title of it?
Well, it's the Millennium Collection, Best of STYX. And it's 11 tracks. It's not really our greatest hits, which is a more expensive piece. It's got about 20 songs on it on A&M, which has sold a couple million at this point.
Uh-huh.
But this is a brand new thing. It's more intended a little bit more as an introduction to the band for a lot of the new fans we've made since our Adam Sandler movie back in '99, and a bunch of stuff that went on for us then. There's a whole new audience out there, and a lot of people are just discovering the band for the first time. This is a great thing for them, and and also, it's got up-to-date liner notes and some unique photos, so there's a collectability factor about it as well, and it's reasonably priced. So and as I mentioned, it's part of a great series that Universal has done and includes great people like The Who and Cream and others. So it's, I don't know, we're excited about it.
You're talking about Big Daddy, right, and his reference to STYX?
Yeah, I mean, there was a total of 3 references to STYX in the movie.
Right.
Were great verbal references. He mentions my colleague Tommy Shaw by name, and and says great things about the band and plays some of our music, classic music. So, and that was, I think, one of his biggest films, if not his biggest. So and we've never met the man, so it's pretty amazing.
I've only got like a minute, but I do have to ask you about the days of theater rock and the rock opera. I mean, STYX went through all that. Do you find it hard to have to go into some of those songs and act out the parts?
Well, actually, that's no longer what we do. We've reasserted ourselves as the rock band that we were when we first came to massive popularity in the mid-'70s.
Right.
And the theatrical side of it is kind of not nearly the part of it that it once was.
The Mr. Roboto thing I'm talking about.
Well, that whole thing was Dennis DeYoung's dream, but it was the rest of ours nightmare.
Yeah. I saw the VH1 behind the music, and they were pretty adamant about, how STYX, the up and downs about it, and how you guys kind of like just couldn't find yourself to do that song and just the whole thing, and get back into the rock thing. And one thing they talked about is how a DJ took one of your songs and played it like all the time, and especially every night at the same time, and really made it big in Chicago. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, that's going back to the beginning of our career, 1973, which was our second album. A song called Lady was on there, and it became a hit in a couple of odd places around the country: Little Rock, Arkansas, Provo, Utah, Rapid City, South Dakota, but nowhere else. But we continued to perform live around the city of Chicago, where the band all lived and grew up. And ultimately, after our fourth album was released a couple years later, Lady had sort of come to prominence because there was a concert promoter locally that promoted us a lot, and he used that song in the commercials. And people at the radio station would get requests for it because we were just that active. And ultimately, it was our own persistence, I think, that helped, and fans requesting the song that wasn't really part of their playlist because this was really a top 40 powerhouse, WLS. They ultimately said, well, this is a hit song that really got overlooked. It should, and we're going to play it once a night at the same time, as you say, and until it is a hit.
Right.
So we're ever grateful to the powers that be at WLS back then.
Who was the DJ?
Well, program director was a guy named Jim Smith, but there was a guy named John Guerin, who was a big radio industry guy who's been around and still around. And John Guerin played a role in making that programming decision as did a guy named Jeff Davis, who was at the station as well.
Right. Well, you all have been, in my opinion, I mean, as a guy has been rocking since he's 13 years old, you guys deserve all the success that you have today, and you've earned every bit of it.
Well, we're having fun, and we're fortunate to be living in a country where, the talents that we have helped us create such a great success, and, so rock and roll.
Right. Okay, well, we're speaking with James Young. Is there any websites that we should go to, any favorite websites to find out about STYX?
Our official website is STYXWorld, one word, STYXWorld.com.
Okay, STYXWorld.com, and we'll check it out. And James Young, these have been some great moments on our radio station. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
Okay, keep rocking, buddy.
We got it.
Can I get you to do one-liner?
Sure.
I'm really late here, but these guys, they love me. I'm usually on time. Let me see. Hi, this is James Young of STYX. Join me tomorrow morning at 7:20. I'll be on with Radio Ron. How's that?
Okay, I can do it.
Go ahead.
All right. Hey, New Jersey, it's James J.Y. Young from STYX. Join me tomorrow morning at 7:20 a.m. Radio Ron and I will be talking it up on 99.7.
You've been listening to an interview with James Young of STYX, originally broadcast over 99.7 BHX. Ron Stekeur produced and conducted the interview. STYX will be touring our area in mid-November. They have announced dates at the Mail Pack in Morristown on November 13th, the TCNY Theater in Westbury on November 14th and 15th, and at the Wellmont Theater in Montclair on November 16th. You're listening to the Folk Rock Show on WRSU. Now here are a couple of classics from STYX.